Have you ever wondered how a bronze sculpture is made? Hey, I'm Gil with Firebird Bronze. We're a full-service metal casting foundry that makes sculpture art. We work with a lot of incredible artists and brands, and in this video, we're going to focus on how using digital tools helped us to save a lot of time and money on two of our recent monuments. We'll be using two examples in this video. This fisherman, which was completely modeled and sculpted in a digital sculpting program, and this Navy officer, who was first 3D scanned, then 3D printed, and then finished in clay. First, we'll take a look at our scanning, printing, and clay finishing process. The client wanted a Navy officer saluting, and in between a tight timeline and the desire to have it look like a clay sculpture that's cast in metal, it made the most sense to find a model, 3D scan them, digitally clean up that scan, print the 3D scan, and then sculpt on it. This process allows us to get the exact pose needed, scaled to the correct size, and with rough detail in a couple weeks instead of a couple months, which is how long it usually takes for an armature to be made, posed correctly, and with rough detail on it. From here, we work with clay sculptors to capture all the detail that is desired for the end product. The 3D print, being perfectly scaled and with such high levels of detail, again reduces the time it takes to sculpt the final detail from weeks to days. Another project that we used digital tools for was this fisherman. For the fisherman, we got as many references and notes as possible from the client to make sure that we understood exactly what they wanted. Then, we start with a digital ball of clay and we get to work. Along the way, we can send the file to clients for review as many times as needed to make sure the pose and the details are all in line with the client's end goal. One of the reasons we opt to digitally sculpt for projects like this is because we can zoom in on small parts of the sculpture and add in as much detail as we desire. And we can make edits to the sculpture's pose, like the tilt of its head, and its scale, like the size of its hands, in minutes as opposed to hours or days in clay. All of this allows for the highest level of detail, the highest level of collaboration with the client, and doing all this work in digital as opposed to physical armature cuts months and tens, if not hundreds of hours out of the sculpting process to achieve the same or oftentimes more detailed end result. Once this piece is fully sculpted, it's sent to a high-resolution printer that requires no work between printing and preparing for metal casting. With both of these workflows, once modeling is finished, it goes through our regular metal casting process. But because the foundation of this piece is a hollow 3D print and not a solid armature with clay on top of it, we won't have to spend any time creating a mold around the sculpt, which is an essential process in clay sculpting and takes months of time and thousands of dollars. For metal casting, we use lost wax casting, then we clean the cast metal. Once it's fully cleaned and prepped, from there it's all assembled and welded together, and once it's fully welded together, it gets polished and patinaed. And in the end, we get this. This video is only 3 minutes long, so it's really just the tip of the iceberg on how much money is saved, how much time is saved, and how much easier it is to collaborate with clients. But also, it's just the tip of the iceberg on all of the possibilities of what could be made using 3D scanning and digital sculpting.